So, Paul, how'd you come up with the title of the album?
Pleased to Meet Me, our new record, yeah. It took us 5-10 minutes to come up with that one. I think Tommy was responsible for that. A lot of people didn't get the joke. I see a lot of interviews and things where they think it's "Pleased to Meet You." Yeah, it's sort of, an obnoxious phrase that we've been known to use on occasion. That it fit the cover.
The cover is a lot like the cover of Elvis Presley's G.I. Blues. How'd you pick it?
How did we pick the cover? Well, let me tell you how we picked the cover. It was, we've been known to lift a few things in our time, and this one is no exception. It was, we took it from an old Elvis cover, the lettering at least. We kind of like the dancing letters, the old 50s sort of feel to it. And we, sort of contrasted it with the photo, which has nothing to do with Elvis at all. But it was that kind of record. We figured we were down in Memphis, and it was a lot bluesier and, a little funkier than we're used to playing. And, that was sort of the spirit we were in.
What was recording in Memphis like?
Going down to Memphis was the coolest thing we ever did, because we knew we wanted to record somewhere else. We actually we recorded first in Minneapolis at Blackberry Way. We did some demo stuff. We were planning on recording here, and after cutting a few things, we thought that it would be good for us to try it somewhere else where we wouldn't have the distractions of being at home, where you can go home at night. And it's much better. I mean, for us, we recorded like 6 or 7 records at home, and to be able to not go home and be comforted at night, it's better for the music in a way, because it makes you think of nothing but the music.
Did you do anything differently when you were in the studio?
Like on Pleased to Meet Me, what we've changed as far as recording is we've taken our time, which is something we rarely do, just because we're very impatient, and it was the best thing in the world for us. It got boring, but it also got the better songs, where if it would have been up to us, we would have been done with the record in a week. Like always, we pretty much record and then maybe overdub a little later, but this time we would actually play songs over and over and over until we actually got the beat down. Chris was a big factor in this one, where Dickinson, the producer, got Chris to play in time. And of course, by that time, Tommy and I were, bored beepless. So we would try it the next day, but just the fact that we took a little longer, I think, paid off.
How do you feel about the replacements since Bob Stinson's left the band?
9 months ago, when we got rid of Bob, we were thinking of breaking up the band. I thought, well, okay, I'll form my own band, and then I'll need a bass player and a drummer. Well, who am I going to ask? I'll ask, the best bass player and drummer that I know, Chris and Tommy. And it's like it made no sense. So that was like one afternoon, I think, that we thought we would disband, because we were very bored with not playing. We had played for 7 years, and we all of a sudden stopped playing because I broke my finger in New York one night, and because of Bob's drifting away from the group. And, we were afraid for a while, and we didn't know what to do. And, it's sort of like when you stop for a while and you sit back and you look at what you're doing, it makes you think like, is this what I want to do with my life? What the hell is this? You travel around and you play your little guitar and people yell at you, and then you go and do it again, and it's like you get used to sitting at home and seeing how, regular people go to work and come home, and
you think about why you want to do this in the first place.
Exactly, and then after being home for 9 months, you realize that if you don't do this, you'll go absolutely crazy.
Talk about Slim, the new guitar player.
Slim is a hell of a good guitar player. Slim is his name, that's it. He ain't got no last name as far as I know. He's played around Minneapolis for a long time. It's like, if anybody wants the best guitar player in town, they would call him. He's like the hired gun of the city, and we had never thought that he would want to play with us. We'd always known him. Our first gig, in fact, we played with, when he was playing with Curtis A. This was back in like 79 or something. And it worked out perfectly, because we had been getting tapes and letters from guitar players all over the place, and the majority of them were trying to fill Bob Stinson's shoes, and play like Bob and act like Bob, and that's not what we wanted. We chose Slim more because he fit our personality. I'm proud of that, at least. We didn't go out and get a hotshot hired guy who could play, great. Slim is not the greatest guitar player in the world, but he is as good on his instrument as we are. And it's like we did the thing. We drank beer one afternoon and hired him before we even played. It was as simple as that. All these, thanks for all the tapes and stuff that everybody else sent, but it was just we wanted someone, from our neck of the woods, and someone who thought the way we did. I mean, he loves rock and roll, and he'll do it till the day he dies, and he has no aspirations for superstardom or mega wealth or anything like that.
How did Chris Mars and Tommy Stinson help you write songs? I noticed they get writing credits.
As far as writing the songs, working with Tommy and Chris, Alex Chilton, for instance, was a song that I wrote, and I pretty much wrote all the songs. The songs that we're all credited with are songs where I would come up with the major idea and not want to do it, and through Tommy and Chris's insistence or exuberance, they would show me that the song was worthwhile, and they would suggest, tempo or do this. I mean, they never really suggest lyrics or anything like that, but, that constitutes writership in my mind, just the fact that they wake me up to realize when we have a good song.
So who are you telling off in the song I Owe You?
I Owe You Nothing. That was the name of the song. A lot of people think that's about Bob or Peter, our former manager, or the label in particular. It's basically focused at anyone who gets in our way, That's the Replacements at their most bitchy, shall I say.
I like any song that says, I'm right and you're wrong.
I'm right and you're wrong, yeah. I mean, how clever is that? That's, fifth grade mentality, but there's still, a bit of that in the Replacements, I think.
And the chorus has no words.
I frankly like it because the chorus is nonsense. The chorus is wow, 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 wow.
We're back with Paul Westerberg and the Replacements. When did you write Nightclub Jitters?
Nightclub Jitters was written in Minneapolis. Actually, it was one of the first songs that I've written walking down the street, where I had a vague idea of the chord sequence, but the melody came to me in my head, and the song, or the lyrics were written as I was going to the Super America, I think. And it was
walking a couple miles.
Just going for a walk in the afternoon, and it was very, it fit my mood at the time, because I think someone wanted me to go out and see their band, and I didn't want to go, not for the fact that I didn't want to see them, but I just feel uncomfortable sometimes going to nightclubs, and the song sort of chronicles that, where you take a drink before you go out, and you don't feel really in touch with the scene that you started with. And there's maybe a few people will poke fun at you or something for, changing or being different, not like you were when you were 19 and you hung out every night. But it was sort of a realization that we had changed, and we're 8 years older now, and we don't hang out at bars every night.
Do you feel old?
Yeah, I think for the first time in my life, I feel old. I feel old. I mean, I'm not paranoid about it, and I feel like that I'm, no longer a young man and can't play rock and roll.
How old are you?
I'm 27. I'm 27, and I feel it. And I no longer try to be 20 or 18. And for the past 2 years, I was 18 for 6 years.
It's exhausting.
And it is, and it wears you out, and it makes you want to quit. And, and that's my answer for people that don't like Nightclub Jitters or Can't Hardly Wait. It's like, I'm not 20 anymore, and I'll be damned if I'm going to pretend that.
Didn't Tommy play stand-up bass on Nightclub Jitters?
Tommy plays stand-up bass on Nightclub Jitters, which is funny as hell, because the guy brought the thing in, and Tommy looked at it and said, I can't play this. We all went out for a sandwich and came back in 15 minutes, and Tommy was like, boom, 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 boom. He picks up, he's a good musician. He's a lousy bass player, but he's a good musician. He picks things up real quick. So that was why we did that, because, he did that so quick. And Chris was learning new beats also, where he pretty much is a straight drummer, where he'll play like, Ringo or whatever. But like I say, we had time to experiment with, try a different beat for once, and they helped us too. Like Dickinson and the engineers were also musicians. They suggested things like tune the guitars.
What was working with producer Jim Dickinson like?
He's great. He's an excellent musician, and it's the first time we'd ever worked with a producer who was really a top-notch musician, who could play anything and pretty much had an idea of what we wanted as far as like what we were playing. His role was very limited as far as like he didn't tell us what to play. He left that to us, which worked well. I think if we would have had someone trying to tell us what to play, we would have had trouble. But he, got the sound that we wanted as far as Chris was concerned, the drums, and he allowed us to do what we wanted. Other producers would tell you to turn down or try this way and this. He would, let us play on 10 and hook up 4 amps at a time. And he's a rocker. He's an older guy, but he definitely hasn't lost the spirit of what it is. Yeah, he's a hell of a dresser. Let me tell you. He wears invisible clothes, so like when he walks in the room, it's so gaudy that no one looks at you, so you're invisible.
Who else has Dickinson worked with?
He's worked with the Stones and stuff. He's played a little piano on Wild Horses, and he claims he played maracas on Brown Sugar, which could be disputed, but he doesn't remember. This was a long time ago, so who knows what state they were in.
Did he play anything on Pleased to Meet Me?
Dickinson played a hell of a good organ on Valentine's, exactly what we wanted. We wanted him. It was difficult though, because we said play like Booker T.
When was Valentine written?
It was written about 2 years ago, I think. And we've been playing it live for quite a while. And the version we have on the record is pretty much the same as we've been playing it, except for the keyboard and the vocal. The vocal I like, because there was some controversy there that someone thought it didn't sound terribly spirited, which it doesn't. But that's kind of what I liked. It sounded like I was very tired and sort of weary of the whole thing, and it fits the song well. So we had to have a discussion about that. They thought it should be belted out more, like stridently singing, "Tonight makes love,"
What is Valentine about, anyway?
I'm still deciding what it's about. It's about kind of a person, but it's I don't like really explaining it because a lot of people will take it in different ways, and I kind of enjoy having people come up and say that Valentine is cool because it's about this and that. I think it's basically about the fact that the line "Tonight belongs to you, tomorrow's mine," saying that taking our usual loser standpoint that our time is not now, and it's we're just collecting Valentines rather than making love to the moment.